Please welcome Rafi Haladjian.
It's always a little bit stressful to be the very first speaker at the conference, but I'm very happy to be here in Korea, in Jeju, drinking suju, and of course, talking to you this morning. What I would like to share with you is my down-to-earth, even mundane view of the Internet of Things. But first, who am I? My name is Rafi Haladjian. I'm 48 years old, which is rather old. I started my career in the early 1980s when I got involved with this. This is what was called the minitel, a dumb terminal the French Telecom provided to telephone subscribers, which at that time, where people didn't have PCs at home, was a very good way to interact with online services, and eventually we got 17 million users. But 10 years afterwards, in the early 1990s, I asked myself, okay, Minitel was nice, but now time is passing, where is history heading? And it appeared to me that there was new ways of communicating and we needed a new network for that. And this is why in the 1990s, in 1994, I launched the very first internet company in France called FranceNet. So I also connected PCs. And then again, 10 years afterwards, after having sold FranceNet, I asked myself, okay, then what's next? Are computers and mobile phones the end of the story? Are people going to interact with information and get access to data only through small screens or bigger screens, but just a few devices through which they can interact with online information? And it seemed to me that no, that computers and mobile phones were just milestones in the evolution, and there was still more interesting things to come. This is why, in 2003, I founded a company called Violet with the goal of creating new type of devices that connect to the internet. And this is why, in 2005, we launched this, Nabaztag, the very first internet-connected rabbit. So for those who don't know what Nabaztag is, the Nabaztag is a 23-centimeter high rabbit that connects through Wi-Fi to the internet to do lots of things. So to do things short, I'm just going to show you a few seconds of a cheesy video, presentation video we have of Nabaztag.
Stylish, surprising, and above all, smart. Nabaztag is the multi-purpose internet-connected rabbit.
Hello, how are you?
It talks, moves its ears, obeys commands.
Weather forecast.
Sunshine, 25 degrees Celsius.
It can even recognize everyday objects.
Welcome home. You have several messages.
Its mission? To provide any information that's of interest to you in a way that's fast, efficient, and fun. To get to know your rabbit, just go to the website and tell it what you like. Daily life, news, music, sports, business, humor. Everything is organized in categories. It's up to you to decide what you want it to inform you about. In a few clicks, Nabaztag hones in on your points of interest. The multifaceted rabbit can speak up at a specific time of day or whenever important news happens, at time intervals that you define.
Canadian Parliament closed in bid to keep Prime Minister in power. Stocks fall in quiet trading. Oil price.
So you get the idea of what it does. But what was more interesting is that we were surprised by the phenomenon that Nabaztag gave rise to. Nearly overnight, we saw the emergence of a community of Nabaztag users who went really crazy, doing all sorts of crazy things like dressing it up and writing operas for the rabbit and tying Nabaztag through its API to all sorts of online applications and stuff. But for us, the purpose of doing Nabaztag was not just to make one more online device, but to make a statement. So here are some views of the rabbit opera and of the Nabaztag dressed by famous designers, French designers. The purpose, so as I said, Nabaztag was to make a statement. So to make an object that would seem so absurd, so un-PC-like, that people would realize that there is the dawning of a new age, an age in which you could connect anything, even the most extreme or the most absurd thing like rabbit. So the statement was, if you can even connect rabbits, you can connect everything. And we added, not only you can connect anything, but you will. Because the Internet of Things is unescapable. This is something that is going to happen, like it or not. So, sorry. Why do we think the Internet of Things is unescapable? The first explanation, which is kind of the usual suspect, is Moore's law. Everybody knows that the price of microprocessors is going down, whereas 50 years ago, computers were very expensive, so you needed to share the few computers with lots of users. Then, with the PC age, you could afford to offer one computer per person. Now we are in an age where you can put microprocessors within anything, so everything can become digitized. So that's not really new, that you have heard this story hundreds of times. What's still more interesting is the emergence of lots of cheap connection technologies. In the last 10 years, we have seen the emergence of tens of technologies that allow to connect objects. All have their own merits, their good sides, their bad sides, but they are all good enough to connect things. There is something I believe in, which is industrial evolutionism. Industrial evolutionism, like regular evolutionism, says every product needs to pass its genes to the next generation. So for instance, 15 years ago, all teddy bears were just made of plush. They were just dumb objects. And when microprocessors became cheap enough, you had the talking and storytelling teddy bears, because the maker of the teddy bear have always this problem that he needs to recreate value in his product. So when technology becomes available, he will use it. The same thing happens with electricity. 100 years ago, initially electricity was made just to connect light bulbs, but the makers of sort of thing that they can make a better version of what they were doing by using that technology. So today that we have cheap connection technologies, we have new toys using like RFID, for instance, to connect the toy to a computer and then to games. The same happens with an object I very much like, which is the bathroom scale. I will be talking a lot about bathroom scale this morning. It also used to be mechanical, then all bathroom scales turned to be digital, and just a couple of months ago, we saw the first Wi-Fi bathroom scale that was launched in the public. There are lots of definitions of what the Internet of Things is. Here is mine, which is very raw, which is very general and low-level definition. The Internet of Things is just the fact that you will have the Internet not just connecting a few devices or things, but it will connect just anything you have in your environment, being inanimate objects or artifacts or devices or spaces through sensors. The second point in the definition is that this is not the product of a decision. We're not doing it because it's a good idea. It will just happen organically. These things happen quite spontaneously just because the technology is available and cheap, and that industries need to innovate. It's a matter of life. So these things are just going to happen. The third important thing is that it doesn't matter so that you don't need any infrastructure to be created. Internet of Things is not rocket science. It just uses technologies that are already available off the shelf. So any industry, anybody in its corner, even a French company, can do and launch products and start creating an ecosystem of communicating devices. And finally, Internet of Things is about nothing special, in the same way as the Internet was not intended for anything special, was agnostic, and it could be used to anything, good ideas, bad ideas, and time will sort beyond this. So this is a very cynical approach of the Internet of Things, saying the Internet of Things is going to happen because it's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that the Internet of Things doesn't have interesting effects. So what are these effects? One interesting exercise is to look at past experiences of what happened before in technology. So let us look to the evolutionary tree of the typewriters. The typewriter, the mechanical typewriter, was mechanical and therefore intended just for one purpose. It helped you just write text and edit the text. When digital technology became available, one branch of the evolutionary tree of the typewriter gave birth to this, the Wang word processor. The idea of the Wang word processor was that digital technology can help us make a typewriter only better with more sophisticated editing possibilities. In the meantime, the second branch of the evolutionary tree gave rise to this, the personal computer, where people thought that, well, digital technology is about software, and there is no reason why you should limit a device to a single software, and you could put several software and have the device doing several things, word processing, but also plenty of other things. But since these machines were not connected to a network, getting new devices, new software to the machine was hard. So they did many things, but not everything. And eventually, we got the internet, and then pervasive network, and then cloud computing, and then netbooks, and which made that potentially an infinite number of applications are available for a device. So the device is not intended for one purpose, it's just a form that gives access to an infinite number of applications. So how can we use this example in more mundane, unsexy devices like bathroom scales? So the same goes with bathroom scales. Bathroom scales used to be mechanical and did just one thing, display the weight of whomever was standing on them. Then, with digital technology, you had bathroom scales that gave more sophisticated information, like how much was your weight yesterday, recognize the different members of the family, and so on. And now, with Wi-Fi bathroom scales, what is a Wi-Fi bathroom scale? What could you imagine doing with that? So the first generation of Wi-Fi bathroom scale, so it just went out 2 months ago, does what the Wang word processor does. It does what the bathroom scale does, but only better. It just displays your weight on your iPhone because it's fancier with fancy graphics and stuff. But there is much, much more you could imagine doing, like sending your weight to a doctor if you have health problems to be followed by that doctor. You can also subscribe to diet services who will get your weight every day and send you recommendations and sell you food and whatever. You can also have your bathroom scale posting RSS feeds to the internet so that other machines can read and fetch that RSS feed and personalize their behavior, like the gym equipment at your fitness center. You can also make them completely social. Why not, when you are in a diet and very happy of your diet, maybe you would like the whole world to know how good you're doing with your diet. Make it social. You can also imagine building games or with prizes or promotional games with whole communities playing by just getting on their bathroom scale every day, and the one who has the highest or lowest or averagest weight in the community would want to win a prize. You can even make it political with organizing strikes of people who would stand on their bathroom scale at the same moment on a certain day, and then you will have the total ton of people participating on the strike from their homes. By adding a simple few cent speaker to a bathroom scale, you can also turn it to a messaging system. Because what is a bathroom scale? A bathroom scale gives you short, intimate, personalized messages. So you can add more intimate, short messages through a bathroom scale. You can send love messages every time you step on. You could have horoscopes. So like in the morning, you will have your bathroom scale say you are getting fat, but since you are a Gemini, this is going to be a good day. You could have weather forecast, and why not have a bathroom scale reading the New York Times to you, or whatever other newspaper. There's something we have done at Violet, which is a simple way to add applications to any device. So for instance, these are the applications I have added to the aspirin bottle I have on my desk, because I take lots of aspirin. So you just go there, so initially you stick an RFID tag to the aspirin bottle, and all the applications you have chosen are run every time you show the bottle to your Nabaztag rabbit. So my aspirin bottle does a few things. First, it has an email address, and it reads the messages it had received from friends. So they send me soothing messages every time I use my aspirin. It records every time I took my medicine, and also sends an email back to my girlfriend saying, "Ooh la la, I have headaches." So all these might seem stupid and ridiculous and weird, but is it so different from this? I mean, the iPhone model showed that as soon as you make something communicating and open, you don't have to bother anymore about what makes sense on a specific device. You just make a device, you connect it to the network, and you let just third party imagine what types of applications they can use. So if it doesn't make sense I mean, you don't have to bother whether it makes sense to make silly noises on a phone or silly noises on a bathroom scale. Just let the community develop applications, and if users want to use that on their devices, they can do it. So this is why the Internet of Things changes the way devices should act, and our approach to devices. We don't have devices meant for a single purpose. They just become a bundle of sensors, a device which is fitted with things like recognizing depression, like for a bathroom scale, or in the more sophisticated case of the iPhone, recognizing movement, GPS, and stuff like that. And all these functionalities are used by third party to develop all sort of applications, no matter if they are useful, fun, or silly. But what you must be to pay attention to is that most probably you will not be able to create new type of devices. That piggybacking on existing user habits is a good thing. I mean, it's much easier to add new possibilities to a phone and turn it into an iPhone or a bathroom scale, because they already have a basic application and people are familiar with their uses. So you cannot just create just an empty form doing that. And the second thing is that you must be economically realistic. You cannot turn every device into an iPhone. I mean, if a bathroom scale costs $300, you are not going to sell them. So you must find the right technology to make all these functionalities available within the range of the whatever is the acceptable price of the given product. So what is this all about? It's about escaping the data fishbowl. What is the data fishbowl? It's like today we have all our information and services like fishes in a fishbowl. They just live here. Every time we want to interact them, we have to stick our nose to the glass and see them live behind the glass. And they are just one spot in our whole environment where information is, where all the rest of the environment is completely dumb. The ambition of the Internet of Things is to put information everywhere, to have information more like butterflies that fly to any object you happen to touch, to have the right information in the right place. Is this really new? No, you already have that. It's called post-it notes. Think of the Internet of Things like digital post-it notes. You just put the right information wherever you like it and stick it and change it and make it dynamic everywhere. So there is not really anything fancy about the Internet of Things. You just have to think in simple existing forms. So finally, the purpose is what? Is to go from a world where we have a handful of devices that brings us information to a world where everything at home is being connected. So going from 5 devices to like 7,995 devices remaining in the home and that are not connected. So it's a kind of a big challenge, but it can be done, and it can be done starting now. So this is what I'll be doing in my next company, Sense. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rafi. Sense.